What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is Wednesday, February 26th. We're 2 days away from the end of February because it's not a leap year. But I'm stoked to be here. We're going to break down all kinds of good stuff. We're going to talk about WrestleMania. We're going to talk about LFG. We'll get into some reality TV, of course. We're going to talk about the NXT crowd chants. We're going to preview an AEW Dynamite that I will be attending tonight in Oceanside with our good friend Carter Crisp, as well as potentially his cousin Cardi Carnett. We'll see how that turns out if he shows up. He does have the ticket, though, at Will Call. We'll see. Let me introduce my friends to you, though, really, really fast. It's a Thursday, not a Tuesday, but you probably ought to get your twos up for out in the DMV. Shoddy himself. What is going on, bro?
Yeah, you living in the future. It's a Wednesday. What you mean it's a Thursday?
Yeah, it's a Wednesday. Oh my gosh. I get the I said it's Wednesday, February 26th.
I know. I was confused for a second, but I'm good, man. Obviously, you and I have ruffled feathers for a lot of the Wrestling Republic comments on IG, but that's why y'all should be tuning into NXT Off the Air. If you're not, it's amazing. And yeah, man, before I also send it back off to you, salutes to the bro, I Make Beats. Yes. I saw my guy in the comments. Salute to SP3 also. Great dude. I've got to work with him before. I saw I Make Beats in the comments on the live stream there. I told him, hey, bro, make sure you hop in here at 3 o'clock. He's a man of his word. Salute to you, big dog. Good to see you as well.
No doubt about it, Shoddy. And I do apologize for the mix-up on days. It is very much a Wednesday. I'm a little confused, though, because we were going to run it back from yesterday, from Tuesday's show, if you tuned in. Not so fast, my friends. We've got out of the bullpen an ample replacement for a Wednesday show. The host of the Soul Sessions himself, all the way from Scotland. Soul is here. How are you, Soul?
Surprise. Maybe not the best surprise for some, but hey, are you still good? I've seen you two beefing on the IG. I mean, our mom and dad stopped fighting. We good? We cushy?
Oh yeah.
There's
no real beef.
Oh, I could love to see it then, lads. I've got a fun topic today. Really, really interested to get into the first one because I think we should all have a very similar discussion on this. But yeah, there's some people that basically it's what people want and what people think. It's two different things. But let's get right into it because I'm ready to shoot off the cuff.
I'm excited to talk about it. And yeah, I mean, trust me and Shad are both master debaters. Absolutely legends when it comes to that. We're both, masters of debate. And look, so that's all that was last night. We're good.
I think me and Clark watch enough of these, undisputed first take shows where, like, you got to give the people what they want sometimes, man.
Yeah,
so
sometimes you just got to, you got to rub some people the wrong way every now and again. Yeah, whether on purpose or on accident. It is
fun. Are you not entertained?
Yes. 1,000%. But let's talk about Wrestling Mania. Not Wrestling Mania. I said that wrong. It's WrestleMania. And I'm hyped about it. It's going to be huge. Ben Allison, Mr. Predictions himself, has predicted a number of different things. No, well, he likes to change predictions. He did very early predictions. He did new ones today as if the original ones never happened.
He swerves more than Vince Russo.
Yeah, we're gonna plug the video.
Next week, Allison analysis, my WrestleMania predictions while I have my biscuits and tea. My
he stole my idea.
While I'm
he stole my idea of Punk getting into the main event.
I'm slightly convinced that Ben's gonna predict WrestleMania until he gets it right, and then tell us all he called it. But it's all love to Ben. We got a great opening segment here. This is going to be a blast. What should main event WrestleMania? Not just night 2, but night 1 as well. I need 2 matches from both of you, and I'm going to give 2 myself. But Shoddy, I'm going to let you go first. The ball is in your court, my friend. Night 1, followed by night 2.
Okay, so let me preface this. This is what I think what I would like to see be booked. And the argument that I've seen a lot of people have is, well, there isn't a lot of build to a lot of the Mania matches. You know, how can this be the main event? Or how could this be the main event? Look, that's the beauty of it. There's so much uncertainty. I said on Tuesday, they're doing a good job giving you a revolving door of potential matches with the buildup, and that kind of leaves us with a lot of what we're doing right now, questioning what will be the match. So, with that being said, I'm gonna be predicting something that happens this coming Saturday and then going off from there. So the first one I am going to pick for night one, which is Saturday for WrestleMania. I want to see the women get a main event match. And this isn't off of a standpoint where, like, oh, a lot of people are saying, you got to make it fair in that way. Because I do agree with that. But I actually think this match is two of the biggest stars. I got Bianca Belair winning Saturday at the Elimination Chamber. And we are going to get the absolute dream match on the main roster on a pay-per-view like WrestleMania, Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I do not care if the build takes 1 month or whatever it may be till we get to Mania. None of that matters. That match alone sells you a ticket. That match alone needs to be a main event for WrestleMania. Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley are the two most important women's wrestlers in the WWE post Four Horsewomen. And they are the two most important WWE women's wrestlers on the roster right now. Those are generational talents. They need to main event. That needs to be a poster. My bad. That was also a video game cover for WWE 2K. So let's make it happen. Let's put it into fruition. That's got to be night one. Night two, I'm going to go off on a limb, man. I think there's going to be another winner for them Elimination Chambers because obviously Cody Rhodes is the quote-unquote quarterback of the WWE. He needs to have a big-time match and a big-time main event. And this is a tough one because there's so many different people on the docket that you can have him go against. But I think with the final boss tied to it, I think The Rock is going to have to go against one of his key enemies, someone who always called him on his BS, and that is CM Punk. I got CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for night two. I think that's the most compelling match out of all the contestants in the Elimination Chamber. I would love to see Seth. I would love to see Drew, but I don't know if they garner a main event or a title match for Cody. So I'm going to go with Punk and Cody for night two. My honorable mention was going to be Jay and Gunther just because I think main event Jay Uso should be in the main event. But I got to let Rhea and Bianca get their match. So, yeah, those are my two.
I love it. I love it. I think they're great picks. I think it makes a lot of sense. Soul, I'm going to go directly to you, though, because I need picks. I need picks because once I deliver mine, I'm afraid everybody's going to be a little frustrated.
I mean, I'll give you five.
If I'm right, it's going to bug people. But Soul, what are your picks?
I'm going to give you five. There's 5 matches that I
can
see night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania. Let's get first of all about the build thing. People complaining about the build.
Give me 4. Ditch 1.
Hang on. People complaining about the build of WrestleMania, right? WrestleMania sells itself. They could build the matches 2 weeks before and people still pay to see it. It's like the Super Bowl. You still want to go watch it. You don't matter who the teams are at the end of the day. You're still going to go watch it.
It's about the spectacle. That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've been to one WrestleMania in LA and being there in person, it's a spectacle. Nothing's like it. Maybe on par with AEW All In at Wembley the first time, but it's a breathtaking experience. So people complaining that the build, shut up, you're dafty. Right, 5 matches that can main event. You have Jay and Gunther, Cody versus whoever wins the chamber, most likely Cena or Punk. You then have Rhea and Bianca. Now, I know I predicted Roxanne, but I don't think Rhea and Roxanne is a main event worthy match. Bianca Belair is. I agree with Shad. I didn't think she was going to win it until she dropped the tag titles. Now my mind's thinking, you know what? Bianca could actually win the chamber. And they're absolutely cool with that. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, and CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, if there's a stipulation to get into the main event of night 2. If those three don't have stipulation, it's not a main event match. I'm sorry, in my point of view. I understand they're the biggest draws of the company. They're all feuding with one another, but it's not a main event match. Main event of WrestleMania should be either the end or a start of a story. And also, I feel it should involve the titles because they're the big things. They're the main things that the men's side and the women's side of the roster are going for, whether it's Cody's belt, Gunther's belt, Tiffy's belt, or Rhea's belt. Those are the main things that the men and the women on that roster are wanting to go for. Now, technically, by WWE's logic, we have our main events, and that's Jey Uso versus Gunther and Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, because they said at the Royal Rumble, whoever wins gets the main event. And now, yes, I know people are immediately going to go, well, they change the narrative all the time. Then stop giving us a false narrative. I don't
Stop
think
doing
anyone
it.
would give
That's
two
fair.
flying. Look, yeah, no one would give two flying Fs if they just never said the main event thing.
Yeah.
If it was just whoever wins, go, that's fine, cool.
You get a title shot. Focus on that.
If it's just a title shot and you get to pick which one, I'm cool with that. I don't need the main event moniker added in. But I will say, if I have a feeling what's going to main event, Jey Uso versus Gunther night 1, night 2, Cody versus whoever wins the Chamber. Now, here's why Jey needs it more than anyone else. That World Heavyweight Championship will always be second part to the WWE Championship in every aspect.
At least right now.
No, in every aspect. In every aspect, it will be second. And here's why. This belt has only been around since 2023, right?
It's true.
The WWE Championship has the near 100-year legacy behind it. Its lineage has never changed. It's never stopped. It's never been deactivated. It's never been altered. It's always been what it has been. The World Heavyweight's a fresh thing. This belt could last 5 years. It could last 10 years. But more and more, it will probably go the same way as the old World Heavyweight and get deactivated down the line or unified with the WWE Championship. That's just how this always goes. History repeats itself.
Yes.
Every time WWE's introduced a second World Championship, whether it's the original World Heavyweight or the Universal, it's always seen as second best. It will always go away. But
to your
in
point,
this moment right now, hang on. Let me
go, go right ahead. Finish up. Sorry.
In this moment, you can make it be something. You can make it feel as important, and you give it those opportunities. I don't think Gunther has been the best for that belt, and that's truly just by the booking point. Jey Uso is popular, is wanted by the fans, is accepted by the fans, could run with that belt and go on an interesting reign, facing the likes of Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, Karrion Kross, KO.
The moment of him winning too, dude.
Exactly. The moment of him winning will be like a highlight replay throughout his entire career. And as well, what I've noticed with Triple H's booking, for his 2 nights of WrestleMania, there's always a good ending and a bad ending. Every single one he's done since the 2 nights, good ending, bad ending. Your good ending is more than likely, looking at those matches, Jey winning. The bad ending is Charlotte winning, someone defeating Rhea, or someone defeating Cody. Now, I would love the women to main event. Do not get me wrong. I would love them to main event. I think Rhea deserves it, and I think Tiffy deserves it as well. However, the money talks. Cody's pulling in the merch monies. He's pulling in the viewerships. And I just feel Jey needs it more. For a guy who calls himself main event Jey Uso, he's not really main evented much.
Not as often as he'd like.
Exactly. To main event a WrestleMania and get a win is a defining moment on one's career.
Except for that, here's the thing. He did main event one WrestleMania, night 1, and we were there in a loss. To your point, to main event it in singles action, though, is different. Yeah. That is a massive factor.
What I would say on that as well, he wasn't calling himself main event Jey Uso.
Right. No, we weren't even approaching that yet.
The fact that he's going with that nickname to not just be some catchphrase for a shirt and actually have it mean something, give it substance. Now, that's what I think will be the main event. Jey Uso versus Gunther for night 1, which will be your good ending, and Cody either turning heel or dropping the belt to a heel Punk or a heel Cena is your bad ending for night 2, because you leave the fans happy on the first night, making them come in to be like, oh, it's another happy experience, and then you leave them with the dreaded end, and it works. People can look at 39. It worked with 39.
Look, we've got a comment over here on Instagram from Luke Murphy that says, "What about a happy ending?" ? And Soul, I agree with a lot of what you said there, and it all makes sense. And I think you had great picks there as well, Shad. But I'm about to bug some people. I have to do it. It's like it's kind of my new thing. So while I'm frustrating you, I'm actually going to pick night 2 first. I'm going to tell you what it's going to be. Night 2 first, because night 1's going to bug you even more. Night 2 main event will be Cody Rhodes against John Cena against Seth Rollins against CM Punk in a fatal 4-way. And the way we get there is night 1 for the Ulafala is Roman Reigns against the final boss, The Rock, upon the favor from CM Punk to remove The Rock from the top of the scene around the WWE Championship. And that's how this goes down. He's going to call his friend Paul and say, I need Roman to handle somebody for me, because this is about me winning the title, and he's not going to win the title night 2. There's no happy endings, not in my story, not in anybody's story. I don't like those. That's not real life. Happy endings are cute and adorable and all, but if I wanted to watch the Care Bears, they offer those on streaming services. And the net of it is everybody doesn't have to win all the time. We don't always have to finish stories at WrestleMania. That was a one-time thing. It was hot. It was cool. Cena doesn't have to go over. I have Seth Rollins standing tall at the end in that fatal 4-way, and I have Roman Reigns defeating The Rock at the behest of the Wise Man and Cody Rhodes night 1. And they once again dominate the main event scene in a WrestleMania, which is something that I think will be historical, because if you look at the Bloodline storyline, and we also are very aware of the you're either going first or last thing, why not now? Why not now? Why not pull the trigger on Rock Roman night 1? It might be the more viewed show if you actually make that the main event. Truthfully, everything that Cody Rhodes did last year was incredible. It really was. It was awesome. Finishing the story and also the delayed gratification. We forgot how well that works as a society, right? It was like, oh, 39, I can't believe. Like, no, it's called delayed gratification. Wait a year and you can have your popsicle. But at this stage of the game, the stone that's unturned is Roman Reigns and The Rock. And it's either gonna never main event the WrestleMania or it's gonna. And you gotta strike while the iron's hot. Do it now. It doesn't have to be night 2. Doesn't need a title. We've had that debate on this very program. Does it need a title for Rock Roman? No. It needs the Ulafala. It needs to be for pride. And it needs to really matter. But that's the put it on a poster match. That's what everybody wants to see. And I get the like, well, remember when Cody and the Rock talked on that Raw after Mania and it was so electric. They have to do that first. No, they don't have to do anything. They didn't have to do Cody and Roman last year. They didn't have to bring in 7 people to help him out last year. They didn't have to do anything, but they did. And that's where we're at. And those are my picks. That's where I'm at. I've got Rock Roman, and then I've got Fatal 4-Way on the other night. And it's going to be a stacked card, though. Because
Bianca Belair is better than all those scrubs, especially
more. And I think she opens night 1 and wins.
I can see that, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I truthfully, I'm speaking from a place of what I want rather than what I think is going to happen. I do think it is important to display the most important stars, and I think sometimes we don't give enough gratitude or appreciation to our biggest stars just because they're women superstars, and that's unfortunate. I don't think somebody like Gunther can sell more merchandise or sell more tickets than a Rhea Ripley or
Jay
Bianca
Uso.
Belair. You know, Jay is a hot commodity now, man. Salute to him. He's definitely doing his thing. But like, y'all, people tend to forget Bianca main evented a WrestleMania before.
No doubt
Like,
about it. And a good one.
I know WWE doesn't want to acknowledge my CEO because she's really one of them ones, but her and Bianca made history as the two first women to main event not main event of Mania, but two first black women to main event of WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
One of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. But I digress, man. I digress.
Yeah, let's jump into some WWE LFG. It's like Legends and Future Greats.
I thought it was Let's Effing Go.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too. It got me the first time. But let's pick who's going to win, Shad. I'm going to start with you here. We're a little behind on time. We had some fun with that first topic. Talk to me about WWE LFG.
All right, well, let me preface this first and foremost. I think LFG has been a phenomenal fun show so far. I used to love Tough Enough back in the day when I was a kid, even as I gotten older. And just the idea of like, you know, I'm a sucker for reality TV. It's fun. It's good. It gives you a bit of a connection to these superstars in a different way. You get to appreciate them as a person more than anything before you go into what they develop and become as characters. And you see the build and what can potentially happen. That's why me and Clark love watching NXT. We see some of these young superstars blossom into tomorrow's main event, you know, big time people. So with that being said, it's been great so far. I'm going to continue watching it. A lot of talented young people there. You know, the homie Elijah Holyfield, former Eagles running back, is in there. The dude who was beefing with Bubba Ray Dudley, you know, he's really funny. But the person that kind of just instantly caught my attention is a young woman from the DMV, Laurel, Maryland, to be exact. And I'm going with Lee Laurel. She is an absolute star. And I say that by just, you see her, the room is captivated out the gate. She commands a room. She don't even got to say a word. Maybe it's the, you know, dominant physical strength that she has. Maybe it's the sheer beauty that she has, but it's something that you're like, yo, who is that? It's the same type of vibes I get when I see a Jade Cargill, right? So she can command a room, and she comes from a very extensive athletic background, you know, being a personal trainer, being a cosplay person as well. You know, she's used to these type of environments and getting self-promotion, and she can garner that. But the big thing for me was the second episode when she had the match, and she put in a lot of work in one of her first matches, and she had all the people, like PC talent, going crazy. They put on an absolute great match with two people who don't have a lot of, you know, reps in pro wrestling. And I look at her like I see a bit of like a Gail Kim. You know, she has that type of, you know, Gail Kim, man. She used to come out with the trench coat, sunglasses, and you'll be like, yo, she's dope. She look like she could be in a Matrix film or whatnot. Like, she's got that same type of vibe. So Leela Rowe, to me, she should be at the moment a little bit of a favorite, but like that's someone I can really see, you know, win or not win. Y'all gotta keep her there because that's someone you can really put a lot of stock and investment in.
I think it's a great pick. I think it's an absolutely great pick. I'm with you. I'm going to give mine really quickly, too. I got to give a monster shout out to Shiloh Hill. Born in Mission Viejo. He ended up moving to New Hampshire, but grew up right by me here in good old MV in Southern California. And, you know, he lost his father, who was a football player himself at Saddleback College and Columbia University. It's an incredibly well-educated family. Guy was a hockey player and a football player, played football at Stanford. He also has a degree in computer science as well as psychology. This is a really bright dude with a ton of talent and a really good athlete and has a really bright future.
As someone who works in IT, I respect my fellow STEM people in that standpoint. Yeah. So salute to him. He's good. That honestly, out of all the guys, he's probably the one guy on there that stood out because when he was cutting the promo, he put a lot of energy into it, and it's like Thea Hale, right? Like when
Yes.
we initially saw Thea Hale, it was like, okay, it could be a little excessive, but like they're gonna be able to like mold and put that
I
temperament
think,
in a solid place.
he's also just such I mean, he's Stanford, right? He's such an intelligent guy. You probably saw the lowest point of his delivery in his career on this program, right? That in his defense, I would say, you know what I mean? Like you'll never see him because he's that hardworking. He's good at everything. Soul, do you have a quick pick for us from LFG? Have you seen it? Oh no, you're muted. Oh,
Hey,
I muted you.
It's not in the UK. I can't watch it.
Oh shoot.
Well,
I think you're gonna like the two. I think you're gonna like the two picks that we had,
brother.
They were both great. Great.
Your digital tariffs have caused me. I can't watch anything. So yeah, cool. Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Well,
speaking of things,
Great British Bake Off, buddy.
I've got to talk really quickly about a few things that you definitely can watch. One of them being Progress Wrestling. Use this code Watch Progress 1. You're gonna get 50% off your first month on Demand Progress Plus, the home of Progress Defy, and many more. Also, head over to the App Store on your phone, whether it's an Android like a weirdo or an iPhone like a normal person. You're the green, text in the chat. Dang it, stop it. But download the Etsy app on the App Store or the Google Play Store, if that's what you got to do. Head over to the upcoming stream section. We're going to be talking about it on Sunday. All kinds of wrestling. And if you want to argue with us, here's the best part. If you've got a little bit of a phone set up with a camera and a mic, you can argue with me about all the things you think I'm wrong on. Ricky Starks, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, whatever you'd like. Just pack a lunch, my friends, and head over to the App Store and download the Etsy app.
If you got the green bubbles, what does MJF call them? The pores? You are definitely part of the pores.
The pores.
Yeah.
I think he was talking about like
sorry, Chaos. You was on an Android yesterday too, so
redonkulous. All right, so we've somehow got a American football reference here that I'm gonna have to send to Soul. The NXT crowd, which is I think just a big group of friends, as far as I know, that go to every show together and hang out, and they've plenty of times had very organized chants, chanted Tony fumbled during the show last night. Soul, was this water off your back like it was for me, or was anything about it bothersome to you?
Did AEW fumble Did AEW fumble Ricky Saints? Did WWE fumble Tony Storm? Did WCW fumble Steve Austin? Did TNA fumble Monty Brown? Like, you can go on. Swerve, Tony, EC3, Austin Aries, Jeff Jarrett in early WCW. Like, you can mention so many names of people that have been fumbled by so many other companies. It happens. Not everyone will benefit in the company that they start. Did Steve Austin rise to the WCW championship in WCW? No. He went to ECW, developed himself, became a main event star in WWE. Did Swerve Strickland rise to the top of WWE when he was there? No. He went to AEW, won the tag titles, now the first black AEW world champion. He has that historic part of his career. Tony Storm, somebody that was great on the indies, went to NXT UK, was pretty great on that brand, went to NXT, pretty good there as well. Went to main roster, fumbled, success. She's now in AEW with one of the best characters in professional wrestling right now. It happens. So what? Just because it's the company that everyone thinks is the enemy, led by the guy who's the worst guy in professional wrestling somehow? No, it happens.
The funniest part to me is like the fumble reference is always great. Like, did they fumble it to fumble the bag? Like, people forget that like a lot of times the offense recovers the fumble and then they still gain the yards.
unless you're Travis Etienne on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That was mean.
Here's what I'll say. Is AEW in a worse place not having Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, Sean Spears, and Alexis King on their roster?
No.
Here's the thing that
is WWE a worse place not having Swerve Strickland or Tony Storm or Saraya on the roster?
No,
No.
it's
So
not.
true. Sincerely, too.
That's
It's
what
funny.
I said earlier on when we were talking too. A fumble doesn't mean the end of the day for either company, right? It's
No.
not like you're not dunking on anybody when you say that. I thought it was corny for the people to just chant that out because you're not making the moment about the wrestler at hand. You're making it more about tribalism more than that. Like, if you genuinely are a fan of Ricky, you go in attendance and you root for Ricky and you're happy for him and what he's doing in his new place. That's
I
how it
am.
should always be.
For Ricky
No.
Saints, there will be three types of fans of his. There will be the WWE fans who are happy they got an AEW guy. There'll be fans of his that are just happy to see him wrestle on a platform, and there'll be AEW fans that are happy that he's gone and hope he doesn't succeed or not. There will be that trifecta. For me
That's so
personally,
true.
I hope Ricky succeeds. I think he'd be a great NXT champion. I think he'd even be an exceptional Intercontinental champion. I even see World Heavyweight in his career. He's very young. He has a lot to give. I think he can give that to the business and for WWE specifically. Just because he was fumbled in one company doesn't mean it's the end of him or that company. It's just a business deal that didn't work out.
Agreed.
I think here's the thing for me. And obviously, most of the audience here probably saw what we talked about last night and has seen me be highly critical of Mr. Ricky Saints. But I want to clear some things up here. My issue is Ricky Saints is a perfect heel in every way. The peak of his popularity was an internet thing. It was a wave of support based on not being used, not based on in-ring performance, not based on on-screen performance. Now, that does not mean he's not talented, but can he deliver upon the steam that he's garnered from that unique scenario? Because as you mentioned, there are those three different types of fans. There's I think there's even more than that, right? There's people that have varying opinions, but after 6 months, after a year, are we still sitting here like next big thing, Ricky Saints, right? Or was it because
Given 6 months isn't even a did Tony Storm kick off that in 6 months?
No, it took Tony a little bit longer too, and I'm not trying to put a time limit on it too. To your point, that is actually totally fair. But I do think over time this is interesting, and that's just a concern of mine. Because, for example, if they brought in MJF to a bunch of fanfare, which is what it would be right now, right? If he goes, let's use him as the example because I think he's the perfect example here. We tried the everybody cheers MJF, he's our bad guy thing. That's not the performer that he is. And
here's the thing, I'll quickly say, why did Jade go to the main roster, but Ricky Saints went to NXT?
Right.
You may have a thing that's saying, well, one's better visually, one's better in ring, but it shows that WWE have a preference and an idea of what they want these particular people to do.
Yeah.
Ricky's done stuff for the NWA. He's done indies. He's done AEW television, so he knows hard cams. He knows that he doesn't need to develop. I don't see why he's in NXT.
But NXT is not a development brand as much as anymore. We have
I love NXT, but it is still.
It's the best weekly show on WWE.
Here's the thing.
No, I think it's the best one, but as a developmental.
Wait. I know one thing about LFG is the winner gets an NXT contract.
Mm-hmm.
So by that definition, its winner gets to that brand, and NXT has always been known as a developmental brand. Now, I'm in the camp that it shouldn't be a developmental brand. When you have people like Jordan Grace, Julia, Vakur, who know how to wrestle, they don't have to learn more. They know the sport. They know the craft of professional wrestling.
As much as it is a development brand, it's still its own entity as a television show. And if I'm I'll be transparent. If I'm Ricky in the situation, I would rather go to a place where I know I'll get an ample amount of television time. I'll be on a higher docket on the card rather than trying to swim my way through the main roster. It's a case-by-case situation. I mean, you got a guy like Penta, they instantly plug and played him, and he's already a big-time star. But it depends on what timing is always the biggest thing. We talked about that yesterday too, right? Timing is the big key. It also matters who it is. Presentation does matter. You mentioned Jade. I'll mention Penta. They have a sense of what main roster WWE wants. You
Right.
look at them, you're glued instantly. Penta looks freaking cool because he's got the amazing ring gear. He comes out with the strut. They
Put
made
straight
the
to the main
entrance
roster.
amazing. The strut's so amazing, bro.
Here's
He
the
walk
thing.
in
Here's
with
the thing.
he on his Razor Ramon type time.
Because I have one more
Yeah.
thing to add too.
One thing I will add though, and this is something we should all think about: if we view NXT on level with Raw and SmackDown, why do we still call Raw and SmackDown main roster?
It's so true. Here's my point on that. I look at NXT like I look at college basketball. I'm a huge fan of the sport of basketball. Outside of my wrestling fandom and what I do over here at WR, I watch as much basketball as anybody. I really, really, really like the NBA. Love would be a stretch. I love college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And NXT is college basketball.
Yes, but it's a better product, but it's
It's
not.
a better product, but it's not the same as the main roster to me. That's how
that's a good comparison.
Yeah, that's how I view it. Just it's like college hoops. Emotionally, I'm going to be more invested because the product is.
And you look at it like that now. Now how the games have changed. People are staying in college basketball because the money
right,
there,
the NIL and everything.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's very true.
I mean, even like you look at someone like, so we can make that case for Ricky, but you can make the same case for Jordan Grace. Why wasn't she implemented directly?
Excellent point. Excellent point. I didn't even consider that. Okay, let's do preview Dynamite though.
That's something I would love to know because
that is a great point, Shad. Though I'm like, dang it,
women's division in the whole world. That's why. So
okay. We've got a bunch of Maria going with NXT is developmental, nothing else. Whoa.
I hate the lowercase M in your picture.
Maria, no.
Why don't you have it a capital M?
That's not nice. Okay, let's talk about AEW Dynamite tonight, though. I'm going. It's in Oceanside. I'm fired up about it. We got freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. No pulp. Against Konosuke Takeshita. I'm stoked about that one. We've also got some other fun. We got a bounty match. We got Will Ospreay against the Bad Apple Brian Keith. We got the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo against Harley Cameron. The queen of entertainment right now, Harley Cameron, that is. Gotta give a monster shout out there. Man, has she been good. And then also, we've got TNT champion Daniel Garcia teaming with FTR against the Undisputed Kingdom, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roddy Strong. Not the Undisputed Era, the Kingdom. Totally different. One short. No Bob Fish, unfortunately. But as a man who's interviewed Bobby Fish, so I'm going to go to you first here. What are you looking forward to most at Dynamite tonight? Oh, whoops. Bad camera cut.
Good segue. I'm excited for mostly Takeshita and Cassie. I think that's going to be a very fun, enjoyable match. I'm actually going to do something Allison will probably laugh his head off. I'm actually going to mention a complaint of this card. It's the trios match. Garcia, FTR versus Undisputed Kingdom. Never mind the fact that I hate Undisputed Kingdom's theme to an absolute passion because they had an absolute banger theme before that. But why again this? We had the feud before. We then had the three-way with Shane Taylor Promotions. We had Undisputed Kingdom challenge for the trios. And we had them against 2.0 with Garcia, I think, last week as well. Unless this is leading to Adam Cole versus Garcia for the TNT Championship at Revolution, I don't get it. I understand AEW want to build up the trios division. Likely they should. But the thing is, doing a tag division and a trios division is the absolute shot in the foot kind of booking you can do because it requires so many people, so much TV time. You have to put so many people in a tag division, so many in a trios, and sometimes they can't coerce. People are going to be like, well, Ring of Honor did it before in the past before TK. They did it, yes, but they didn't. Like, you look at the 6-man tag team titles in Ring of Honor, like a lot of the reigns were long, but not many defenses. Like on the top of my head, the Kingdom, Bullet Club, Villain Enterprises, Mexicools or Mexa Squads, like they held it, I think, near 400 days, like come back like for each group, and it was a long time. So like they need a lot of work. Now, like if If Garcia and Cole happens, and this is what we're building for at Revolution, I'm cool
Yeah.
with that. I get it then. I would just want Garcia to defend that belt a bit more because it's starting to become on par with the Continental as no one cares about it anymore.
Yeah, it's to your point. You have to build a division, and when it's tag teams, it's pairs of two. So you need that many bodies. When it's trios, it's pairs. It's not pairs. It's trios. It's three people.
Here's what I'll throw out to you right now. Out of the trios we have, who's going to take the titles off the Death Riders? For me, it's rated FTR. That's what we should be doing. So why? I understand Cope is going for Mox at Revolution, so that's what we're building right now. So why not do FTR versus Hurt Syndicate while we're waiting for Cope to finish up his program?
And that's the other struggle here too. So let's think of it this way: when it comes to the trios division, right? You probably need 4 relevant teams. That's 12 bodies.
So like
roster wise.
On that, like they've got Shane Taylor, they've got Garcia in 2.0, but he's with the TNT, so you really shouldn't count that.
Right.
You have Undisputed Kingdom, you have the Elite, but they're not coming back for a while, it looks like. I mean, maybe XMM Collection and Johnny TV could be a fun kind of trio there. But then you look at Ring of Honor and it's like, so it's just Dustin and the Von Erichs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like those belts don't need to exist. And I absolutely hate it. Sorry, I got to go on and rant. I hate that Tony Khan has done that. Why did you bring back the Ring of Honor 6-man TK? It was a stupid decision. You don't know the word unified. It's not in your dictionary. You did it before with the TNT and you made Sammy come out with 2 belts. You've done it with the trios and then you just split them apart anyway. You had a valid, literally a clear point to
unify it.
Belts. You could have cut your belts and you'd have had people off your back saying there's pointless belts in either company. You had an out, and then you shot yourself in the foot. You shot yourself in the foot. You had an out, boy. You had an out, and you went and gonna be a dafty twat like the internet thinks that you are, and you brought these belts back. Why?
No,
look, I like the second.
It's serious when Soul.
He's cutting into all my time, bro. They might
like,
can't even get my take.
Sorry,
you're good. No, we'll go
I
over.
hate the Ring of Honor 6-man still being around. I just hate it. It's the stupidest decision he's made. Up there with the all-in footage.
I think it's completely fair, but so seriously though, Shotty, let's leave the rest the trios titles because this is a discussion for later.
No,
we do need to vet that. But as far as the other matches, we got Cassidy and Takeshita, and we've also got the Harley Cameron and Deanna. Do you have any thoughts on that? And
I'm excited. I'm excited for Miss Harley Cameron to get her opportunity to show the world why they should feel the wrath, because it is going to be a spectacle. She's the unsung hero in the AEW women's division. Had a great showing against a Mercedes Moné and going against someone who I think is more of who is looked to be a big time signing for the women's division with a Deonna Purrazzo, obviously doing her stuff with the Vendetta, but she hasn't really given us that virtuoso that we saw in TNA Impact. It's kind of felt a little flat. And then you see a girl like Harley Cameron who kind of came here brand spanking new, more of a manager position, now becoming a wrestler. She's taking the world by storm. So sometimes it's the cases where you don't expect end up being the bigger stars and the people that you had high hopes for. So I think Harley potentially getting a win over someone like Deonna can add more stain to her. The thing I am most excited for tonight, though, is the interaction in the segment that we will have with Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana. This Swerve and Prince Nana feud with Ricochet tied to the Mogul Embassy robe, a robe that has a lot of history and lineage, a robe worn by the late, great Jimmy Rave prior, is one of the most underrated feuds in professional wrestling. Swerve is a guy who can make a feud with anybody and you're fully invested into it. He could play the heel, he could play the babyface, but it's Prince Nana and Ricochet that have really elevated this with the rope, and with Ricochet just being an absolute menace, one of the best heels in pro wrestling. I bought the stock when it's low, and that joint is all the way to the moon. So salute to Rico.
Okay, I'll say this because I'm going tonight with Carter and potentially Cardi Carnett as well.
Buy all the
They
merch.
are two different people. Here's what I'm saying. I'll definitely be buying some merch. They've got these tri-tip nachos at this venue from this local place that's really good. So I'll be up on the concourse, absolutely mashing tri-tip nachos. Feel free to dap me up as soon as I finish the nachos, my friends. If you will be in attendance tonight, it's going to be a blast. I'm stoked about it. It's really cool. Oceanside's a really fun area of Southern California. It's so much more convenient than going up to LA or even driving out to the desert for Ontario.
Yeah.
It's in a
I
really
love
cool
what they're
venue
doing with I
tonight.
love what they're doing with these new venues too. Like
Yeah,
when I went to the one in December when it was Osprey and Derby, like it's the same venue that Vengeance Day was. It's more
yeah.
intimate, a bit smaller, but like it's gonna pack house with how many seats it is, and it just makes the energy a lot better, a whole lot better.
It's a very cool venue that we're going to tonight. I'm really, really excited about it. It's 7,500 seats. It's where the San Diego Clippers play, the affiliate of the Clippers. And you know, if you've heard about Intuit Dome and what they've done with that, where the Netflix Raw debut was at, the new Clippers arena up there, they did a lot of testing on this building. And
Okay.
it's smaller concerts, it's smaller crowds, but it's one of the highest technology buildings that you can go to. So I'm really actually interested to see what the in arena experience is like. But I will say that's probably going to bring us to the end of the show because guess what I got to do is change clothes and hop in the car. Carter's pulling up. Thank you, every single person that tuned in. I really appreciate it. On behalf of me, Shadi and Soul, and everybody at WR, have an excellent Wednesday. It is not Thursday, in fact. Tomorrow will be Thursday.
And we back at it tomorrow.
Same time, same place. That's noon Pacific, 3 o'clock over on the East, 8 o'clock in the UK, and of course, 9 a.m. for my friends in Hawaii. Have an awesome day. We appreciate you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Deuces.